Did you know that the average American visits the establishment known as McDonald's approximately 55 times per year? That is equivalent to having Ronald McDonald himself serve as your personal chef for almost 2 whole months in a row. However, before you rush to grab your car keys for another visit to the Golden Arches, there is something important you must understand. Remember those wise words your mother used to say, "You are what you eat." If that is indeed true, then many of us have turned into a veritable walking, talking experiment in modern science, all thanks to McDonald's burgers. Just recently, I discovered a burger from McDonald's that I had forgotten about in my car, and I am not exaggerating when I say that it had been sitting there for a full 3 weeks. The most frightening part is that the burger looked exactly the same as the day I purchased it. Not a single speck of mold, and not even a hint of any unusual odor. Meanwhile, my homemade burgers seemed to transform into full-blown science experiments after only 3 days. Let us take a moment to compare the two. A typical homemade burger might consist of roughly 5 to 6 ingredients, such as meat, salt, pepper, and perhaps a smattering of garlic or herbs if you are feeling particularly gourmet. But prepare to be astonished when you examine the ingredient list of a McDonald's burger. It reads like an advanced chemistry textbook. There are around 70 different ingredients involved. This is not merely a burger. It is an elaborate science fair project that inexplicably found its way into the food industry. Yet the most perplexing issue is the situation with the beef. Although McDonald's boldly claims that they use 100% beef, they have mastered the uncanny art of making it taste exactly the same every single time, at every location. It is as if they have discovered a magical cloning technique for meat flavor, comparable to a digital stamp that replicates the perfect taste over and over again. One friend of mine, who once worked at a meat processing facility, explained that they use a substance referred to as pink slime. In essence, this is a mixture of all the leftover bits of meat that have been thoroughly cleaned with ammonia. Delicious, is it not? Yet, it is the fact that these burgers appear almost immortal that really gives me pause. Scientists have maintained McDonald's burgers for many years, and they appear practically identical to how they looked on day one. In fact, one researcher in Iceland even exhibits a burger that was created in the year 2009 inside a glass display case. That burger appears to be in far better condition than I usually am on a Monday morning. The burger even has its very own webcam. At this point, it is probably more famous than many individuals who make their living by posing on social media. Now, you might be thinking that perhaps the secret to its everlasting appearance lies in extraordinary preservation techniques. Perhaps the answer is not as sinister as it seems. Or maybe my cat is secretly authoring a novel when I am not around. However, the truth is that real, natural food is supposed to decompose. Bacteria, which typically relish a hearty meat feast, would normally be quick to attack any fresh food. The fact that they do not even come near your burger should be seen as nature waving a large red flag. One would assume that with all these chemicals, the healthiest choice would be to opt for a salad instead. But here is where McDonald's most cunning illusion comes into play. They have redefined what it means to be healthy in a way that might be the biggest trick of all. Consider, for example, their Southwest salad with crispy chicken and dressing. This so-called healthy option contains 730 calories. For comparison, a Big Mac contains 563 calories. You read that correctly. Choosing the healthy option at McDonald's is almost like visiting a casino if your goal is to save money. I have a friend who once spent an entire month consuming only McDonald's salads in an attempt to lose weight. In the end, the only thing that became noticeably lighter was her wallet. Another masterstroke in their repertoire of deceptions is the yogurt parfait. At first glance, it appears to be an innocent snack with yogurt, berries, and granola. It even sounds like something your enthusiastic fitness instructor would commend. However, one must not be fooled. A single yogurt parfait contains as much as 22 grams of sugar. That is more sugar than is found in 2 of the Krispy Kreme glazed donuts that you might otherwise be tempted to indulge in. McDonald's has essentially transformed what should be a dessert into what they market as a healthy breakfast option. This is not simply clever marketing, it is a psychological ploy engineered to keep you returning for more. The ingenious psychology behind these so-called healthy menu items is reminiscent of an evil genius at work. McDonald's is aware that when one member of a group is trying to select a healthy option, that choice can serve as an excuse to prevent the entire group from refusing the allure of their other products. They have salads, but these are not necessarily meant for consumption. Instead, they are strategically placed on the menu like a treadmill in a candy store. They exist not to be used, but rather to provide the comforting illusion that there is a healthy alternative available. Let us now shift our focus to one of the most universally recognized items on the menu, the famous fries. After learning what goes into them, you might find yourself wishing that these too would experience a malfunction. There is an extraordinary museum in Iceland that proudly displays a complete McDonald's meal taken from the last restaurant that closed in the year 2009. The fries on display appear exactly as they did when they were freshly served. Perfectly golden, with not even a speck of mold or the faintest hint of decay. In fact, they are so well preserved that they could easily rival my grandmother's wedding dress, which she managed to keep in pristine condition for 60 years. The museum curator simply dusts them off now and then, as though they were ancient relics. In a sense, these fries have achieved a status that might even inspire the legendary adventurer Indiana Jones to pause in admiration. For those who enjoy experiments, here is one that you can try at home. Take a serving of McDonald's fries and place them side by side with a serving of homemade fries. Wait for the span of 1 week, and you will likely observe that the homemade fries begin to exhibit signs of decay, perhaps even sprouting mold and other unexpected growths that would delight any biology teacher. In stark contrast, the McDonald's fries remain stubbornly unchanged, almost as if they are mocking the natural laws of decomposition. They appear exactly as they did on the very first day, as if they have discovered the mythical fountain of youth and reserved its secret solely for potatoes. Another matter that deserves our attention is the overwhelming salt content found in these seemingly immortal fries. A medium serving of these extraordinary fries contains an amount of sodium so excessive that it could easily cause a cardiologist to faint. It appears as though McDonald's is not merely focused on preserving the fries, but may also be inadvertently attempting to preserve its customers by transforming them into a sort of human jerky. Now let us consider another mystery of processed foods. Have you ever pondered what exactly you are consuming during those early hours of the morning when irresistible cravings for chicken McNuggets strike? Imagine that it is 4 o'clock in the morning and your telephone rings. A friendly voice cheerfully inquires, "Would you like to try our chicken McNuggets?" There is something peculiarly disconcerting about hearing such an offer at that ungodly hour. In that hazy state between sleep and wakefulness, Those golden nuggets of mystery meat seem as though they could solve all of life's dilemmas. Yet, at that precise moment, profound questions arise. What exactly am I putting into my body right now? The ingredient list for Chicken McNuggets is lengthy and complex, resembling the final examination for an advanced course in chemistry. One of the ingredients is known as dimethylsiloxane, which happens to be the same compound used in the production of silly putty. McDonald's maintains that this substance is simply an anti-foaming agent used in the cooking oil. However, one might ask whether the need to add anti-foaming agents to chicken should prompt a reassessment of one's life choices altogether. The chicken portion of the McNuggets comprises only about half of the final product. The remaining portion is a combination of corn derivatives, leavening agents, and dextrose, which is essentially a fancier term for sugar. In other words, sugar is deliberately added to the chicken mixture, as if someone observed a piece of chicken and decided, this requires absolutely everything except genuine chicken. A food scientist once meticulously described the manufacturing process. Initially, various parts of the chicken are gathered and ground into a paste. Then, stabilizers, preservatives, and flavorings are incorporated into the mixture. Finally, this uniform concoction is molded into the four famously distinct shapes: the bell, the bow tie, the ball, and the boot. That is correct. Chicken McNuggets are produced in exactly 4 shapes, reminiscent of a game of chicken Tetris. In blind taste tests, most individuals are unable to differentiate between a chicken McNugget and a nugget made from compressed paper towels soaked in chicken broth. This is not a mere exaggeration. It is the genuine conclusion reached by food researchers who determined that we are no longer tasting authentic chicken. Instead, we are experiencing a blend of salt, sugar, and a vague echo of childhood memories. If you believe that the McNuggets are dubious, then wait until you hear about the mysteriously perfect breakfast eggs. The eggs used in the renowned McMuffin are far from ordinary. A genuine egg requires only one ingredient: the egg itself. Yet McDonald's eggs have been transformed into what can only be described as a science project, with nearly 20 different ingredients, including something called liquid margarine. A cousin of mine, who works at a food manufacturing facility supplying McDonald's, revealed that the eggs are pre-cooked, then frozen, and subsequently shipped to various locations where they are reheated. These eggs arrive as perfectly shaped discs, as if a normal egg had been pressed through a factory mold reminiscent of a Play-Doh press. They are the only eggs I have ever seen that appear to come with an elaborate instruction manual. The irony is that these eggs are marketed as freshly cracked, even though they were originally cracked 3 weeks ago in a factory situated 500 miles away. In truth, the only thing that remains fresh is the heating lamp under which they are reheated. It is rather like calling a frozen dinner home-cooked, merely because it has been warmed up in a microwave. And now, here is a fact that may shatter your morning reverie. The fluffy scrambled eggs found in the breakfast burrito are not served in the usual container one might expect from milk. Instead, they are provided in an enormous industrial-sized container filled with a thick yellow liquid that could easily be mistaken for a substance from a science fiction narrative. Employees simply agitate this enormous container and pour the contents onto the grill. A friend who once worked the breakfast shift confided that it reminded her of the slime they used to create in elementary school science class. The most peculiar aspect of these eggs is not only their ingredients, but the unnaturally perfect appearance they exhibit. Every single egg is identical in size, shape, and color, as though McDonald's is attempting to filter breakfast through an Instagram lens, erasing any trace of nature's imperfections. In a world where no two eggs in nature are identical, these eggs have been cloned to a level of perfection that defies the very laws of nature. Furthermore, let us not overlook the clever tactics that McDonald's employs to encourage increased spending. One of the most striking strategies is their deliberate use of the colors red and yellow. These hues have been carefully chosen because research indicates that they stimulate the appetite. It is almost as though McDonald's is orchestrating a Hunger Games competition within our minds, with each of us unwittingly cast as a contestant. Their menu boards are meticulously arranged so that the most profitable items are placed directly at eye level, where our gaze naturally falls. Even the items on the so-called inexpensive dollar menu are positioned deliberately in the corner, like teenagers who did not receive an invitation to the school dance. A marketing expert once revealed that McDonald's rearranges their menu boards more frequently than one might rearrange the furniture in one's home, all in order to subtly influence what you decide to purchase that month. And what of the value meals? The only true value in these meals is the additional profit that McDonald's reaps from unsuspecting customers. The mathematics behind it is astonishing. When you calculate the cost of individual items, it often turns out that purchasing each item separately is less expensive than buying the bundled combination meal. And yet, as a society, we have been conditioned to believe that the combination meal offers inherent savings, as if it were encoded within our very DNA. Just recently, I discovered that ordering items separately saved me an amount comparable to the price of half a gallon of gasoline in today's economy. Perhaps the most impressive tactic, however, is their strategic use of aromas. The vents placed throughout the establishment are meticulously engineered to emit the irresistible fragrance of French fries at the precise moment you are deciding what to order. My vehicle, for instance, seems to automatically transform into a drive-through car whenever it catches even a whiff of those delectable fries. I am almost certain that McDonald's has conditioned my automobile in a manner reminiscent of Pavlov's experiments with his well-known canine subjects. Studies have revealed that approximately 70% of McDonald's customers end up spending more than they had originally planned, solely because of the way the menu is designed and the carefully engineered aromas that fill the air. The simple query, "Would you like to supersize that?" has, over time, boosted their profits by millions. Although they have retired that particular phrase, they now substitute it with a new expression that carries the exact same persuasive power. But what happens when one finally attempts to break free from the gravitational pull of the golden arches? A dear friend of mine decided to abstain from McDonald's for an entire month, and the results were nothing short of astonishing. He had assumed that eliminating McDonald's from his routine would be a trivial matter. Yet, within merely 3 days, his vehicle inexplicably began to resemble a drive-through once again, as if it were possessed by the very spirit of Ronald McDonald. Old habits, particularly those that are deep-fried, do not simply vanish overnight. However, the changes did not stop there. Financial improvements were among the first noticeable benefits. His wallet, long burdened by the weight of frequent fast food expenditures, began to feel considerably lighter as he saved approximately $200 per month. Physically, he experienced a remarkable transformation. The puffiness that once adorned his face seemed to vanish as though it had been extracted in a modern salt mine, and his skin cleared up dramatically, as if he had discovered an expensive beauty secret. His blood pressure decreased so significantly that his doctor even called to verify that the readings were accurate and not merely an error. For perspective, an average McDonald's meal contains roughly 1,200 milligrams of sodium, which is more than half of the recommended daily limit. By the end of the month, my friend had shed approximately 11 pounds without making any other alterations to his lifestyle. Did my friend decide to renounce McDonald's entirely? Not exactly. He still visits occasionally because, after all, he is only human. However, his visits have now become a deliberate choice rather than an automatic response to hunger. In his own words, he compares indulging in McDonald's to inviting an ex into one's home, a habit that is recognized as not being beneficial for one's overall well-being. He might still treat himself to a cup of coffee every now and then, but he is no longer casually handing over the keys to his house at every opportunity. In conclusion, while the allure of McDonald's may be as tantalizing as the shimmering promise of an endless fast food banquet, it is crucial to remember that behind the familiar smile and cheery facade lies a realm of scientific experiments, cleverly disguised ingredients, and marketing strategies that prey upon our most basic instincts. Whether it is the seemingly immortal burgers, the suspiciously preserved fries, or the engineered perfection of their eggs, McDonald's remains an enigma that challenges both our taste buds and our common sense. Perhaps the next time you find yourself gravitating toward the drive-through menu, you might pause to consider the true cost of convenience. After all, making a conscious decision about what we put into our bodies is the first step towards reclaiming both our health and our autonomy.